Good morning, good people, fellow humans. Today is Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and other interested people on their journey through this life. Boom. What does that mean? Well, it means we believe we have a soul that transcends after death. So if you ask yourself the question, what happens when I die? The proper answer is, I don't know, but here's what I believe. I believe something happens, or you could say, I believe nothing happens. Good morning, Medicus von Atticus, Untersergeant Ordinaire. Something happens or nothing happens. If you believe something happens, then you got to ask the question, does what I do here have any impact on what happens? And the logical thing would be, yeah, as opposed to no, they're totally independent. Yes, I do. What is that? Oh. Okay, oh, now I get it. All right, okay. So I believe something happens. And I believe what I do here has an impact on what happens next. Therefore, I want to do the right thing now. Well, what is that? There's a lot of different choices. I select Jesus, what he said. Why? Because he was resurrected as proof of the truth of what he said. That is correct. Trespassers do not get to come into the house. He's now trespassing. He is not an invited guest. He's a trespasser who's there because Okay, moving right along. So today is day 3, week 3. Outside my size kingdom, how do I get people to help me on my journey? This would be something good for Atticus von Atticus to think about. How do I get people to help me on my journey through this life? And on Monday, no, let's come back to that. Let's go to our worksheet. Advice from an 80-year-old, whistle. And that's our theme of today, just whistle. Just whistle. Think of it as a form of prayer. It makes you feel good. Just whistle. What does Seth Godin tell us? Seth Godin, The Knot, my upcoming new book, and a course that's already here. The Knot, Problems Can Be Solved, will be available in September. And this week, I'm launching a video course that covers the ideas in the book. You can find the course and how to get it at no extra cost here. We're surrounded by problems. Problems create the arc of our days, and solving them creates value for ourselves and for others. There are big problems, the ones that are on a grand stage, and local problems related to our career, our peers, or our projects. If it's a problem, it can be solved. Right. And I would argue that our brains have evolved to solve problems. That's it. You give your brain a problem to solve, it will solve it. If you don't give it a problem to solve, it doesn't really know what to do. It's like a car has a purpose. Purpose is to transport the driver from point A to point B and beyond. That's what its purpose is. Sitting in the driveway, sitting in a river is not what it's designed for. The best reason for me to publish a book is to help inspire conversations and the momentum that leads to change. Books give us an excuse to engage, and they create a portable bundle of ideas that are easy to share. Several hundred people have already read and listened to the book and the conversation it's creating. And the stuff that's disappearing are thrilling to see. In talking with folks over the last year and a half, the same theme returns: the frustrations of being stuck. We see our world changing and we feel the tension, and it's easy to lose sight of what we can do and how we can show up to make an impact. Without a doubt, there are situations everywhere. Situations are uncomfortable and unhappy, but they have no solution. We can't do anything about a situation, so our best course of action is to acknowledge it and get back to work on the problems we can solve. Gravity is a situation. Getting to the moon and back is a problem. My approach to bringing this book to the world is to give booksellers the confidence they need to support it by enrolling as many pre-orders as I can. By creating digital interactions and courses, I'm giving readers a chance to engage with the idea now and then receive the book/audiobook when it ships in September. I appreciate your trust and hope you find the book and the course useful. Okay, so I've got to leave that up so I can go to it later. So that is Seth Godin. His new book, Make Something. His new book is the Something Happen, is what we say. Make something happen. All right. Next. What is next on our hit parade? Okay, advice from an 80-year-old: whistle. Our themo memo for today: just whistle. Let's see, what is the plan regarding Jamie? Well, it's not going to be good. I can tell you that much. Trespassers, it always ends bad for a trespasser. Let's put it that way. What the trespasser should do is say to the landlord, the owner, say to them, what can I do to help? Not, I can stay on your land. It always ends bad for trespassers. In the old days, somebody would walk out there with a gun and say, leave now or I'm going to shoot you. That wasn't a better system. Okay. Let's get to it. Let's get around to it. Where are the to-its? They're around. They're around here. Our round to-its are around here. I'm riding in a field with the sun in my face. Okay, good. You must be in Elysium. Next, okay, so where are we for the week? This is the week where we need other people. Well, we already know that. How do we attract other people? How do we get other people to help us on our journey through this life? How do we do that? How do we do that? And the answer is there are certain things we can do. Number one, David Logan said, join a tribe, nudge it forward. Get in with a group of people like you, participate, come up with something new, encourage people to do it. That's one way. Number two, Seth Godin says, well, here's how, once you join a tribe, here's how you nudge it forward. Find something to change, because if you don't change anything, you can't nudge people forward. Find something to change, tell a compelling story, connect the true believers, ignore the non-true believers, and then lead them. And today we're getting, well, how do you tell a compelling story? And Simon Sinek is going to talk about that. So he's going to frame it from the position of how, what, why. So you have these circles, how, what, and why. And let's see. Okay, so you have a circle, the golden circle. The outermost part is what? What do you do? What are we going to change? How are we going to do it? How are we going to change it? And why? Why are we going to do it? Why are we going to change things? So Simon Sinek says you start with why. Why what in this case? The answer is, so if we have Seth Godin's 4 steps here, find part of the status quo to change, tell a compelling story, connect the true believers, lead them. And you have Simon Sinek over here who's saying how, why, how, what. You start with why. Why do we need to what? Why do we need to change the status quo? Not why do we need to connect, not why do we need to lead, not why do we need to find part of the status quo to change? Why we need to tell, not why do we need to tell a compelling story, but why do we need to change the status quo? That's it. That is how you tell a compelling story. The story is why we need to change the status quo. So for Atticus von Atticus, that might be the status quo is he's here in Pahrump. Not a lot is happening. Every day is similar to every other day. This year is similar to last year. Why do we need to change the status quo? And that's the story. And the story would be because if we don't change the status quo, 5 years from now, he will be the same, but time will have progressed 5 years on. Why do we need to change the status quo? Why do we need to change the way things are? And if we go back to our well, I don't have the What Did Jesus Actually Say book. If you go back to that, it's about transformation, it's about trajectory, following the commandments, preparing for what comes next. Our lives are about 700,800 hours. That's an 80-year life, 700,000 hours. Eternity is, if we measure it just from the age of the universe, 13.8 billion times 24 hours. 700,000 hours is nothing compared. So if you believe there's something after this, the idea is to prepare for that. And yeah, okay, so let's just go back one more time. Simon Sinek. And this week, how do we get people to help us? How do we get people to help us on our journey, our adventure through life? We need to bond with them. They need to see the world the way we see it. How do we do that? By communication. And so first of all, we get around people who are like us, and then we try to change the status quo, meaning I want you to help me on my adventure. And I need to persuade the person as to why I need to do that, why it's a good idea. Okay, well, I think we got through it very quickly. So we are going to say hasta la vista, baby.